Today I'm looking at how wrist weights can help us understand our Kung Fu forms, and I'll be using the Wing Chun tsun to illustrate this concept. Now back in the day in China, people trained with metal rings. That'll be one way to train your Kung Fu. And I think one of the interesting things about putting weights on your wrists is that it helps you understand that your arms have weight, and there's efficient and inefficient ways to move them. So for example, if we start in our first opening movement of, I'm going to skip these movements, but just look at the Tan Sao coming out for Tsun Tao. If you think about your hand and this weight and trying to push it forward, what you're going to find is your muscle here tenses up. You have your tense bicep, and you start to have shoulder lockup and shoulder impingement from trying to hold up this force. Okay, so this is the wrong way of doing it. Muscle is tight, 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 tight. Instead, I let this go. See how that moment from here is relaxed. The elbow hangs loose. And I allow this weight to be pushed forward by the rotation of this shoulder. So rather than doing this, I'm doing this. When you do this, especially when you have the weight on your wrist, you start to feel, first of all, look, my bicep is now loose, and the engagement is in my core. So the core is driving the large muscles of my back to push the elbow through the center line. And now this weight is supported by all of this. Okay, so we have this. And then on the way back, same thing. My elbow opens up a little bit, and I'm able to take this force down this line into my lats here. That only works if I don't tense this stuff up. If I tense my shoulder, tense my bicep, tense my forearm, I tense everything here, then the force is locked in my shoulder and my shoulder muscles are doing all the work, and very quickly the deltoids start to burn. But if I do it with a relaxed shoulder and let that force come back into my lats, I feel it in my back. Okay, so we have these movements, and then we have Pak Sao. Same thing with Pak Sao. If I drive it with my wrist, I have another video where I show the same concept with an elastic band, but it's really, really keenly felt. If I drive it with my wrist, I have force in my shoulder right here. I'm feeling it right there. It's tight here. If I drive it with my elbow, sink. You engage the core and engage this rotational movement. This is not a push. It's a rotational movement of the shoulder. When I engage that rotational movement, then the engagement is coming from the core. And this is much easier to support. You can do this stuff on the heavy bag to practice the same motion, pushing with the hand versus pushing with the whole body. These are all good ways to practice it. Okay, here, so we have this. Same thing here. If I want to strike with my wrist, I start right away holding the shoulder. If on the other hand, the strike is from my elbow, sink, 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 sink. Then it's supported. Okay, so we do all those movements in here, drop, drop. Same thing here. If I try to lift my hands up like this, it's not comfortable. I drive my elbows back. That keeps the weight low and close to my body. So I'm not lifting up the hands and then moving them back here. This is very difficult. Once I lift my hands here, to move this weight in this position is very difficult. On the other hand, moving it, I'm going to try to show from here, moving my elbows back here first, while maintaining this tensed structure. Not tensed as in my muscles are tense, but my this line of force is taut, still taut, and here. So the movement of the arms here is very small. I'm not having to lift this weight because I've moved my entire structure back there using my back muscles. Okay, same thing here. I don't push with my hands, I drop my shoulders and elbows, and my elbows create this force. I don't do this, pushing with my hands, I drop my shoulders and elbows, and I push that way. Okay, here's a very interesting move. From these gum saos to come back into this position, it's not this. It's not this, which puts strain on your shoulder. It's not this. It is rotating your elbows rotating your shoulders at the humerus to cause the elbow to come forward. When you do that, you'll notice, first of all, that you maintain a forward line of force. I have a different video that I'm going to do on this, but maybe I'll show it here as well so it's clear. Like this. Alright, so here's my rubber band. I have forward force. It's not collapse the force and then fold, which also puts a lot of load on your shoulder because you're lifting this weight. It is extend the force and keep it extended. That tautness that the rubber band is showing is also the same tautness that happens inside of the body. When you stretch your fascia, you stretch, you're able to lift this load because you're on a kind of on a biotensegrity structure. Everything here is like this, like a little string. Stretch the string, and now you're not lifting this weight really far away from you, which is hard. This is a big lever. You're actually lifting it here. Your shoulders are driving your elbows to close, and this is opening here. And then here, it's your back and chest opening that drives this out. So you're not trying to do this with your shoulder muscles, which is difficult. You're opening the whole thing and coming back. Same thing here. You're not opening these elbows and driving this forward, which is difficult and puts a lot of strain on your shoulder. You're dropping the elbows and extending forward. So this mass is actually traveling down the center line. You see how it rotates through the center line? It's not doing this. Here it's going up and down, putting strain on your shoulder. Here it's going through the center line. Okay, from the side. Here this is up and down, putting strain on the shoulder. Here it's through the center line. It's a rotation of this. It's a corkscrewing forward with a rotation. So, like that. It's cutting like that. So these things are very educational because you do have weight in your hands, and when you perform any sort of movement, punching, hitting, grappling, if you're doing it inefficiently, then you're constantly carrying the weight of your own hands, which is what this is helping you feel. Because now you feel that you don't want to carry that weight and you want to move from the center. Another reason why we want our elbows in, because out here, strain on my shoulder, and here, close to my body, supported by my structure, right? So all of our moves are in this position. All of our moves are meant to be from the center line. We punch through the center line. We don't punch out here. There are other kinds of punches, but even those, even a bong sao style of punch would go through the center line. Even this punch, okay, even if you're doing a hook, we're not hooking like this. We're hooking like this, through the center line. This weight is very difficult to lift out here and very slow. You can feel it right away if you put this weight in your hand and try to do this kind of hook, which, you know, yeah, they do this in boxing. There is the overhands and stuff like that, but even a good overhand is not this. It's this. It's through the center line, because that's where you actually have the support, and that's where your force is generated. All of this stuff is very obvious once you put on weights. So I recommend training with weights and find out where your body is strong and how to engage the support system.